What's up everybody? Today I'm going to show you a super easy method for how to learn to juggle 3 balls. If you follow these steps closely, you can be juggling in just about 15 minutes. Let's get into it. So there's lots of different objects you can juggle with, which is one of the reasons why juggling is so great. But when you're learning, some things are definitely better than others. Tennis balls are okay, but they tend to bounce away, or when they hit each other, they'll bounce far apart, and they can get annoying if you're dropping them a lot. But they will work. What I really like to use, and what I learned on, is hacky sacks. Hacky sacks are great because they're cheap and easy to find, and they don't roll away when you're juggling and you drop them. Today I'm going to be using these round, bouncy juggling balls. Okay. So you're going to want to start with one ball, and you might be tempted to skip this step or only spend 30 seconds on it, but spend a good 5 minutes on this step and you won't regret it later on. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, arms at your side, elbows in. A lot of people might think you're juggling way out here, but you're not. You want your arms in and at your side, everything sort of relaxed and arms bent. And what you're going to do for the first step to start juggling is you're going to take one ball in your dominant hand and throw it up in a nice gentle arc to about head level and have it land in your other hand like this. And then you're going to throw it back. And you're going to keep doing this over and over again. Now you want all of the throws to be a relatively consistent height and a relatively consistent speed and location. So you don't want to have to move your hand a lot to grab it. That's bad. You want your hands staying in generally the same spot on each throw. Another thing to keep in mind is you want them to stay in a parallel plane. So if I turn sideways here, you don't want the balls to be going out and in or in and out like this. You want them to stay as much as possible in this vertical plane like this. So keep practicing this step, throwing the ball back and forth until you can do it consistently every time. And then, and only then, move on to step 2. Now for step 2, you guessed it, we're going to add a second ball. So what you're going to want to do for this is take one ball in each hand, and you're going to do the same throw that you just perfected and mastered in step 1 in step 2. So start with it in your dominant hand, and you're going to throw that one first, just a normal throw, except this time, once it gets to its peak, you're going to throw the second ball. And what you want the second ball to do is travel up underneath the first ball and land in your other hand. So it'll look like this. Now you want them to be generally the same height, and you want your hands to be in the same spot, and as before, you want them in the same plane. You always want the one that you throw up to land on the outside, and you want to throw the one on the inside. So start first with your dominant hand throwing first, and then once you've gotten that down, do it with the other hand and throw the other one first. This motion right here is all it takes to juggle. It's just this repeated motion over and over again. And so once you have it mastered, you can move on to 3 balls. But as before, you want the height about head height, and you want them all in the same plane, back and forth. So spend another at least 5 good solid minutes on this, and once you have that, and you have that mastered, you can move on to step 3. For step 3, you're going to need a third ball. So this time, you're going to hold 2 balls in your dominant hand and 1 ball in your non-dominant hand. So when you hold them, you want 1 ball at the front and the 1 ball in the back of your hand like this. And once you throw the first ball, so you'll throw it up, you'll kind of slide the second ball into that new throwing position. So it looks like this. Now we're going to repeat everything we learned in step 1 and step 2 is going to stay the same, except this time we're going to throw a third ball. So I'm going to throw from my dominant hand, the one with 2 balls first, and I'm going to throw the first ball up, and then just as before, I'm going to throw the second one underneath it. Now, instead of stopping at this point, what I'm going to do is throw the third ball underneath the second ball in the same pattern as before. So let me show you, and it'll hopefully make sense. First ball, second ball, third ball, catch. Don't try to keep going. you should end up with 2 balls in the opposite hand, and then you'll put them back in the first hand. So it should be 1, 2, 3, catch. Okay, and you want to count like that. You want to be in that pattern. 1, 2, 3, catch. Okay, everything similar distance apart. You shouldn't be a 1, 2, 3, catch. That's bad. You want it all in the same pattern. 1, 2, 3, catch. Remember, you just throw the first ball up, throw the second ball underneath it, and then you throw the third ball, which is in your first hand, underneath that one. So 1, 2, 3, catch. And when you catch it, same as before, you're going to want to catch it at the front, and then you can move the ball to the back of your hand so you have room to catch the second one. Once you have it mastered starting with your dominant hand, switch hands. So you start with your non-dominant hand, and you'll throw 1, 2, 3, catch. 1, 2, 3, catch. After you have that mastered, you're going to move to the next step, which is just adding an additional throw. This pattern is just going to repeat itself over and over again, and that's how you'll be juggling. So what I'm going to do now is 1, 2, 3, 4, catch. This, when you count to 4 and then catch, it should end up the same as it started, with 2 balls in your dominant hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, catch. 1, 2, 3, 4, catch. Now this pattern is just going to keep repeating itself over and over again. Once you have it down, keep adding more throws. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just keep going. This pattern will keep repeating itself. And like I said before, if you're throwing really low, you'll be juggling really fast, which may be cool when you get good at juggling, but when you're learning, this is a little bit harder. And if you throw really high, it'll be nice and slow. And slow can be nice, but it's harder to control the balls, so don't try to throw it too high. Try to keep it about head level, and that's the perfect for learning. A couple tips to keep in mind. When you're throwing, a lot of people are like, oh, where do I look? Do I look up and down with the balls? Do I look at my hands? No, don't look at your hands.
Balls, do I look at my hands?
Don't move your head up and down, don't look at your hands, and don't just look somewhere ahead of you. What you want to do is you want to look at the top arc of the ball. So keep your eyes focused on that top zone, and then you should be able to have complete control the whole time, and you'll see where the balls are, and you'll know where they're going to land based on how they're traveling in the air. So that's a tip on where to look. Another thing to keep in mind is that while you're juggling, you want to be staying in the same spot. So sometimes people, as their throws get errant and off the mark, they tend to kind of run around chasing the balls. If you find yourself running around chasing balls, slow down and go back a step, and make sure you have the previous step mastered so that your throws are landing consistent and in the same spot. Once you get good at juggling 3 balls, you can change it up and add some tricks. So you could throw over instead of under, you could throw it in columns, you could throw it behind the back or under the leg. There's a multitude of different tricks you can do. So let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more videos on how to do juggling tricks, and we will be sure to do that. Thank you so much everybody for watching this video. I really hope that it helped you learn how to juggle. If it did, be sure to hit that like button and let me know down in the comments below. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss another video. Until next time, don't be boring. Dad? Yeah. If you could not whistle, that'd be great. Thank you.